Okay, this is going to be a calculator lesson for the end part of our polynomials unit, finding all the solutions and factors. Now, you still want to have an idea, we've been talking about this a lot in this unit, of what your possibilities could be. Okay, 1/3, 2/3, 4/3. Okay? Now, what's convenient with the calculator, okay? All right, we go to menu, we go to graph, okay? I got 3x cubed minus 17x squared, okay? Plus 21x minus 4. Okay? Now, I want to look at where does it cross the x-axis. I get g solve and root. Okay, crazy decimal, another crazy decimal, 4. Okay, so I got one of those solutions is 4. Now, with these crazy decimals, you got to have an idea of what these are, right? So, like, what's 1/3, right? So 1/3 obviously is that. That's not one of the answers. 2/3, obviously not. 4 divided by 3. 4/3. Those are none of these. Okay, so obviously that's not that one. That's not that one. So this is the only one we have. So what I got solutions. I got factors. All right. So a solution of 4 factor would be x minus 4. I do synthetic division, just like I've been doing. 3 times that would be 12, that's -5, that's -20, that's 1, that's 4, that's 0. Okay? All right? So what we got here is we got 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. All right? Now, if I go to factor that, 3 times 1 is 3. There's no factors of 3 that add up to -5. So this is this is automatically the factor. And then I got to use the quadratic formula. Okay? So I got 5 plus or minus -5 squared minus 4 times 3 times 1 all over 2 times 3. Okay? So that's going to be 5 plus or minus 25 minus 12, because that's what that is, over 6. That's 5 plus or minus square root of 13 over 6. 13 is going to be a prime number. So that's going to be my answer. Okay? So we're looking for those kinds. All right? Same thing here, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. All right, 1 and 3. So 1, 1/3, 2/3. So if I get a crazy decimal, I'm looking for like 0.3s or 0.6s. I can just go ahead and assume that those are the answers. So I go in here, okay, 3x cubed, or 3x to the 4th, plus x cubed, okay, minus 15x squared, plus x, plus 2. Draw, all right, g solve root, all right, that's not one of them. That is, so that's what? What do you think that is? That's going to be -1/3, okay? That's one of them. That's not. 2 is one of them, okay? So it saves you some time from trying a bunch of them, all right? So I'm going to reduce this by 2 first. So I got factors and solutions. All right, solution I know is -1/3. I know is 2. As a factor, this would be 3x plus 1. This would be x minus 2. All right, so it would be 3, 6, 7, 14, -1, -2, -1, -2, 0. And then I would do this again for -1/3. It would be 3 times -1. -1/3 would be -1. That would be 6. 6 times that would be -2. It's going to be -3. That would be +3. Be 0. Okay. All right. And so if this is x to the 4th, this level is x cubed. This level becomes x squared. So that's 3x squared plus 6x minus 3. Now, you could take out the 3 there. If you want to make it a little bit easier on the quadratic formula, that's x squared plus 2x minus 1. That will not factor, so you have to use the quadratic formula. Negative 2 plus or minus 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2 times 1. It's going to be negative 2 plus or minus, this will be 4 minus negative 4, which would be 8. All right, negative 2 plus or minus square root of 8 all over 2. Square root of 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. Okay, so that's negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 all over 2. They're all divisible by 2, so I got negative 1 plus or minus 1 square root of 2. Okay, my other factor ends up being this. Actually, it's this, 3x squared plus 6x minus 3. You can either do it that way, you can take the 3 out and write that. I'm not going to be picky on that issue there. Okay, this one, I got plus or minus 1, 3, 9, plus or minus 1, 7. So, all right, 1/7, 3/7, 9/7. Now I'm going to take a look at what those are, because just so I know from a calculation standpoint, 1 divided by 7 is 0.124. Okay, all right, 2 divided by 7 is 0.2857. And then 9 divided by 7 is, I keep doing that, 1.285. All right. So what I want to do with this, okay, go ahead, type this in, I go to graph. All right, I got 7x to the 4th plus 31x cubed minus 2x squared minus 27x minus 9. Okay, the G-solve root, all right, that's not one of them. That's not one of them. That is, I think that's 3/7. Am I wrong? Yeah, it's 3/7. Okay. So that's going to be that. It's going to be 3/7. All right. With this. So I got this. You solve root. I've got negative 3/7 is one of the answers, and one is the other. So solutions. X equals negative 3/7. X equals 1. I automatically know that those factors are 7x plus 3, x minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to use synthetic division. I'll do the 3/7. Yeah, no, I'm going to do the 3/7 1 second. Let's get this 1 in here first. Make it a little smaller. It doesn't matter which one you use. Okay, so that's 7. 1 times that is 7. It's going to be 38. 38 times that is 38. That is 36. 36 times that is 36. It's going to be 9. 9 times that will be 0. Then I want to do negative 3/7. That's 7. 7 times that's negative 3. That's 35. That's negative 15, which would be 21. 21 times that is negative 9, gives me 0. So this is x to the 4th, x cubed, x squared. So I got 7x squared plus 35x plus 21. If I take out the 7 there, which may be easier to do, just take out the 7. That would be x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, and now that's going to be the other You can leave that 7 in there. It doesn't really matter to me. Okay, so I'd have negative 5 plus and minus 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3 all over 2 times 1. So that's going to be 25 minus 12. Okay, that's negative 5 plus or minus square root of 13 all over 2. Okay. All right, so that's going to be my answer. You can either write that or put that in there, either or. So you can, this last one, like I said, could be this if you want. Okay, either one is fine. All right, so you can go ahead and pause your video, go ahead and work on those 2. Okay, so now we're going to get into the graphing part of this. Okay, now what you want to have an idea of before you start is where are your arrows going to be. Just because we're using a calculator doesn't mean we don't need to know that. Well, if it's a cube, positive cube, I'm going to have an arrow here and an arrow here. All right, some fashion. Okay, all right, and then what I want to do, all right, is I want to type that in. I got x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 2. All right, I got that. G solve root, negative 1.68, and we can put the decimals here. This is not a, I'm going to sort of write them over here. Okay, I hit over here, this is 0.35. Then I got 3.3. I'm going to go ahead and graph these. 3.3. Okay, get the y-intercept. G solve y-intercept. Y-intercept is 2. Okay. Relative minimum and maximum. So here's the idea. Obviously, they're not the smallest values, but when we have these little things, this is considered a relative max. This is considered a relative min. So if you do that, and you select that, that's what you're getting. That's relative max is negative 0.7, 4.2. So negative 0.7, 4.2. Somewhere there. Okay, same thing with the relative minimum. G solve minimum. All right, you got 2.1, negative 8.0. Somewhere down here. Okay, all right. So what happens is you got an arrow, and you can move this arrow around once you realize that this is going to be here. You just got to sort of know that those arrows are going to be out there. Now, to find this stuff, we want to label our arrows. Well, this is negative infinity, negative. This is positive, positive. Okay. All right. This was negative 0.7, 4.2, and this is 2.1, negative 8.0. Okay. All right. So my smallest x value is negative infinity. The biggest is positive infinity. Okay, the range. Smallest y value is negative infinity, biggest is positive. All right, increasing, decreasing. We start from the left. That is rising, so that's negative infinity to negative 0.7. Then it's dropping from negative 0.7 to 2.1. And then it's rising back up from 2.1 to infinity. The end behaviors, okay? The left end behavior is negative infinity. That's the y value. The right end behavior is positive infinity. That's the y value. So when we're talking about those, we're talking about the y values. Okay? And as a reminder, you could see them written a little bit differently. Okay? All right? So that is a negative, even deal there. So that's going to be things like this and this. Okay? All right? So we already really know that's negative infinity, negative. And that's positive infinity, negative. So my left end behavior is negative infinity, and my right end behavior is also negative infinity. I didn't even make the graph to know that. Okay, we talked about that earlier in the unit. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and do this so I can type real easily. I got x to the fourth. Negative x to the fourth plus 3x squared plus x plus 8. I'm going to draw it. All right. I need to zoom out just a little bit so I can see it. Okay, that's what I got there. So I got a g solve root. I got negative 2.0. About hit over. I get 2.2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put those on there. I'm going to go ahead and find the y-intercept. It's going to be 8. Okay, I'm going to find the maximum and the minimums. Okay, so I got negative 1.19.0. All right, negative 1.19.0. I'm going to check for any others. I also got 1.3, 11.5. 1.3, 11.5. Okay. Then I'm going to do G solve minimum. All right. Negative 0.1, 7.9. All right. I'm going to check for multiple ones of those. So I got negative 7.9. So what my graph looks like, it does this. All right, and these are those same, I can just cross out those. I've got those labeled now, okay? All right, and all I really care about to do well, I should label this. This is negative 1.19. This is 1.3, 11.5. And then this is negative 0.1, 7.9. All right, for the domain, my smallest of all my x values is negative infinity, the biggest is positive. For the range, the smallest is negative infinity, but the biggest is 11.5, and that would be a square bracket. This is increasing from negative infinity to negative 1.1. Then it's dropping from negative 1.1 to negative 0.1. Then it's rising back up from negative 0.1 to 1.3. And then it's decreasing from 1.3 to infinity. All right. Is it just that one? Yep. All right, we'll do one more with the x to the fourths. Okay. This is a positive. So I got this going on. So that'd be negative, positive. So it'd be positive, positive. So my left end behavior automatically I know is positive infinity, and my right end behavior is also positive infinity. Okay. So I got x to the fourth plus 4x cubed plus x squared minus 6x. Draw. Okay. All right. G solve root. I got one at negative 3. I got one at negative 2. I got one at 0. And I got one at 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put all these dots on here. Okay. Let's get the y-intercept. Is it 0? It's already on there. Let's get the minimums and maximums. Max, okay, I got negative 1, 4. Let's see if I have any others. That's it. G solve minimums. I got negative 2.5, negative 2.2. Negative 2.5, negative 2.2. And then I'm going to check for any others. I got 0.5, negative 2.2. All right. so I know that my graph does something like this. Something of that nature. Okay? Now I want to label these. Okay? So smallest x to biggest x, negative infinity to infinity. Smallest y is negative 2.2 to infinity. All right, this would decrease the start from negative infinity to negative 2.5, then rise from negative 2.5 to negative 1. Then it would drop again from negative 1 to 0.5, and then rise again from 0.5 to infinity. Okay, so that's how you do those. All right, and then here are some, these three, I would like you guys to try on your own.